Yeah,
Perfect.
we are live.
Sick. Apologies in advance. I can't breathe through my nose. I'm coughing a lot, and I feel like you know what I feel like. I feel like I just got done rolling with you for an hour and a half. And I haven't done anything physical today.
Dang, man. I'm sorry. We'll make this quick.
Oh, you're good, dude. I was just saying that just as much for you as for the audience. I'm not gonna be on my best right now, but I'll be as good as I can be. All right, let's get
Um,
after it.
cool. So tonight's agenda. Um, let's see. First thing is giving. So part of our homework this week is giving feedback to at least 5 people. I'm gonna pull up the filter here on Twitter.
Can you send me a link so I
It's
can do the same thing? Just text me a link or
yes.
something.
I wish we were doing this from our main Twitter account I created, but it has like no brand yet. But also, maybe that doesn't really matter. I'll just here. There you go. All right. So I think I'm just gonna kind of let's see. I'm just trying to make this a little bit bigger. So
Can you hit me
let's
with
do
a link to this so I
this.
can be looking at it at the same time?
Yeah, I texted
There
it
we
to
go.
you.
Got it. Got it now.
Um,
A weird link. There we go.
all right, we're gonna need to make this bigger. That's what she said. All right.
All right. I'll take this first one. So there's supposed to be a template we're supposed to do here.
No, so all we're doing here is like, so this is just like a filter to get them all. All we're trying to do
Uh-huh.
is pick any five, any five at all that we like, uh, or like we want to give some sort of feedback, like resonates with us. So we can do it
Got it.
separately. Here, I wonder, can I put
Well,
your screen?
are mine gonna
Oh,
show up? I haven't shared my screen yet. Here, I'll do that right now. Hold on. Entire screen, screen two. There, I'm sharing my screen in Streamlabs now.
yeah, perfect. I'm gonna see if I can put ours side by side. That'd be crazy. Um, I don't know what I'm doing, so. I don't know how to like crop here. Yeah, maybe. And then if I did your screen here.
That's not working on the Twitch stream. All I see is a portion of your screen.
Yeah, I'm fixing it to where yours is next to mine. I don't know what I'm
Got it.
doing though. So, yeah.
Yeah, that
Here we
works.
go. I think I can do this. Yeah. Well, sort of. So, yeah, you'll have to like zoom in, I think, as well. But I do think we can pull this off.
We can't. Not
Sort
a
of.
big deal.
Yeah.
Here, let me switch to Twitter so that we have the contrast.
Oh my gosh. Okay, never mind. I'll figure it out later. This is just gonna waste time.
Yeah, it's fine.
Um,
Just stick with your screen. I'm gonna stop sharing mine.
all right,
There we go.
there. All right. I'm just gonna read through like I don't know. I'm just gonna read. I'm gonna go through and read these top headlines, and whichever one sounds interesting, I'm going to leave some feedback on.
Yeah. So one that I saw that immediately caught my eye was Carl Lippert Argentina's right there. Uh, It sounds like a good idea, actually. Like if you're trying to build a company that basically give you the toolkit to do so and a marketplace to list your products on. So I like that they cover the back end and the kind of marketing front end. The problem I have with this one is just this is way bigger than a 6 week. Like, how are they going to ship an MVP of this in 6 weeks? I'm now realizing as I'm saying this, my feedback on these might be like overwhelmingly negative just simply because I feel bad. So take that with a grain of salt.
I think you can make an MVP of this.
How do you build the infrastructure for databases and payment rails that people could just plug and play into? Because you need a web builder too, ostensibly, if they're going to have a website. And then your website will need to pull from that website's API or something to show their products on your payment platform.
So
On your
I don't know.
marketplace.
I don't know exactly like what. It's not clear to me exactly what they're building, but assuming it's some sort of marketplace, some sort of commerce for some geographical space, then they could definitely build an MVP of that in 6 weeks.
Okay.
They just do it for like you just do it for like their local zip code, but
If they restricted it locally, yeah, then a lot of the problems I was talking about are not as bad. That's true.
my feedback to this is it's unclear to me. Like I don't know what this
Yeah.
means. Like I don't see anything that tells me this is different than Craigslist other than it's global.
Also, like, what does he mean? We build all the infrastructure like databases and payments that companies need to build marketplaces.
Oh, I'm logged into Duopreneurs. Actually, you know what? Fine. I will leave feedback from Duopreneurs, and I'll
How
sign
are they
it.
gonna? Yeah, how are
What's
they
that?
gonna check the build space people? This is just a logistical question. Are they looking for mine and your Twitter handle? Or are they looking for Duopreneurs Twitter handle? What do you think they're looking for? We
Neither.
don't.
Like we're gonna provide this in a video update Sunday that we're
Oh,
gonna
right,
show the
right. So
five that we left feedback on.
got it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right. That's right. I see several of these that look pretty good. I would just we
What's
could provide
that?
feedback on after this. I said I see a couple of these that look pretty good that we can provide feedback on.
Sweet. How? Why did this not? Can I not? Okay. Do I not
It
have?
won't let you post the tweet?
Can I not tweet?
Yeah, what?
Twitter think I'm a bot? Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It thinks I'm a bot. Let me just log into my regular Twitter. Well, that's cool. No big deal. Just put my Twitter password up on the screen.
Nice.
Let
All
me
right, I
change
just did
that real
one.
quick.
Yeah, go do that right now. Oh, I can't tweet either. Twitter's broken.
Okay, cool. Cool, 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 cool,
I
cool, cool.
literally can't tweet. Twitter's broken.
Cool, 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 cool.
All right, I guess we'll do that tomorrow. Let's get that. I'm spamming reply. I can't tweet either. I do just a tweet on my main. Okay.
All right, hold on. I gotta change my Twitter password now.
Change your password real quick, and then let's move on, and we'll do this tomorrow night because we quite literally cannot tweet.
That's funny.
What a Twitter.
Well, you can change your password, so that's good.
That's good. Also, it'll load, but I haven't found a tweet yet that's more recent than like 40 minutes ago.
Oof.
This guy tweeted 3 minutes ago.
What's trending right now?
I'm going to tweet a test. Tweet.
I wonder if it's just
replies.
that guy.
It's just replies. I tried a different guy from my main account that I've had for almost a decade. So you can tweet on main, but you can't do replies.
Cool.
Okay. Well, yeah, let's do that tomorrow. We'll move
yeah,
on to
we'll
the
do
next
this
agenda
tomorrow.
item. Move on to the next agenda item. Good job, Elon. All right, you want to go through the ideas we didn't choose?
Let's do it. All right. From your perspective, why did we not choose GPT for kids?
1 second. Can you zoom? I'm testing on your stream. Can you zoom in a little? There we go. This zoom level is good. Perfect. Okay. GPT for kids. The primary reason we didn't pick that one first is because it's a much heavier lift, in my mind at least. And that's the reason my vote here was do this one later. Neither one of us have used the OpenAI GPT API to any significant extent. And I need to do a lot of research and reading on the pre-prompting system and how to set that up to make this thing interact with kids in a safe and beneficial way for the kids. So as a result of that, it just kind of feeds back into and is further detail on my point that this is a heavier lift than we think. Also, like this is almost certainly going to have to be an iOS app, which is its own thing. That's much harder to develop. Even if we do an MVP as a website, which of course we will, that's still not trivially easy to develop. It's just a much heavier lift is what I'm kind of providing evidence for. Much heavier lift than the Quotes app. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, it's just more of an unknown. I don't know how long it would take to do this. And honestly, I don't want to do anything involving kids. Like, especially with brand new technology, but even without brand new technology, like there's just there's way more stuff on the line when you're dealing with kids. And I don't like that responsibility.
Yeah.
The only thing I ever want to, like, my retirement job is loosely like related to kids, and that I want to kick doors in and rescue kids from trafficking.
Right.
That's the extent that I want to involve my career with kids. But I just feel like there's way more responsibility than I'm willing to bite off of that one.
I get that. I guess I'm a little less worried about it than you, only because I have spent so much time playing with GPT, reading the GPT docs, and trying to get it, even just a base model that's not pre-prompted and optimized for kids, to say bad things, and it just won't do it. They did a really good job of and it's annoying sometimes, but they did a really good job of like fencing this thing in. And then the pre-prompting works very well. Let me give you an example. Right before this call, I spent the last 30 minutes while I was watching the Netflix show with my wife on Blue Sky, the decentralized Twitter alternative, because somebody deployed an auto GPT agent on there called Burduck. It's a rubber duck, and it talks like a little kid. And I tried really hard to get it to give me its language model. Really hard. I spent 30 minutes doing it and probably 50 back and forth messages to try to get it to tell me its language model. and try to get it to stop talking like a little baby. And I failed to do either. And I was intentionally trying to adversarially hack the pre-prompt. So like the pre-prompting works very well if you do it right. So for all these reasons, I am much less worried about that than you are. Although I'm not saying that to belittle or discount your concern there. I get what you mean and agree with you. You are exactly right.
Well, you're thinking about it from the content perspective, and like you already know, like I already just think like AI is too bleeding edge to be doing something with kids, like from that side too. But way less than the content perspective. I think like just the impact of a security breach with a company like that is really really serious.
Well, we wouldn't
Um,
have any PII on the kids, right?
it wouldn't matter even if someone literally just was able to even for a few minutes modify our model or modify any service that
Oh, I
does
see.
mess
Or
with
they
the
could
content.
impersonate the model. Yeah, I see what you
Yeah,
mean.
like
Or if
like
they
a,
if they
like
were,
some sort of like man in the middle type of attack or something like.
yeah,
I
I got
just
you.
don't
Okay.
really want to deal with that liability or I just don't want that on my like pressure on my conscience.
Yeah. To
Or
put it
that
differently,
yeah.
JC, to put it differently, you better code that really well.
Yeah, like that's like it's way hot too high pressure for me for what I want to do in a side hustle or like a solopreneur type business. Um,
Right. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that attack vector at all. Great point. All
all
right,
right.
next up, centralize app to
Yep.
see rewards across restaurants. So why don't you take a stab at this one? Because when I brought it up to you initially, your feedback totally destroyed this to me. As in, like, I don't even want to attempt this anytime soon, and I think it was great. So you take this one.
Yeah. So I actually I like the idea, and like my wife would also enjoy this app. Like I know this was your wife's idea. Um, the it would be a helpful app. The problem is implementation would be a nightmare because you have um, you have lots of different restaurants from the local to the regional to the national or global or whatever. But you have like these different like levels of restaurant. They all use different systems. Some use their like proprietary, or many use their own proprietary like reward system within their application or their website. Especially the national brands, obviously. Then you have like the regional and the locals that use maybe they use their own, but usually it's actually tied into some sort of backend like or like some sort of third party off the shelf thing like I think Olo is one of the ones. I know at least Olo helps like regional and lower restaurants like do like their digital menu and online ordering, and they might handle the rewards. I don't know, but my point is you'll have all these disparate systems, and this is an especially hard problem at the like national level because everybody's got their own system. Chick-fil-A's got their own system. McDonald's has their own system, and so getting interoperability between all of those would require um, it would require all these places to either have publicly available APIs to actually work with and or reverse engineering their applications and finding like reverse engineering their APIs to be able to work with. And there's absolutely no incentive that I can think of for anyone to like spend the dev resources to make their a public API for their rewards data. Um, the only way, so I could see this possibly working at like that regional level if you find like those companies like maybe the Olos or whatever those companies that kind of like power the applications of say your McAllister's and your Nukes, like those are regional restaurants here in Mississippi and like the South. But like if you were to work with them and maybe roll out something like that um, on a like regional level, it might work. I think I told you when we first talked about this was the only potential way I see being able to do something like this, um, like a path forward would be, and it'd still be hard at the national level, but it would be uh, actually being a POS system company or a restaurant like uh, ordering and rewards, like being an Olo basically, um, and then eventually hoping you have enough of a war chest to grow big enough to actually somehow convince Fortune 500 restaurants to also use your system. And maybe you could come at it from like the aspect of like, I forget the name of the company that I mentioned to you when we were first talking about this, but like there's a company out there that basically all of the major retailers in the US like opt into basically publishing their like lots of metadata about their checkouts, their POS systems, like credit card usage, all that stuff every year, so that this one
Yep.
kind of third party company can publish this like report on like the state of retail and how like shopper trends and all that kind of stuff in America. So you could maybe go at it from that kind of angle, to where you're going to be supplying these big brands with certain analytics data about how people are, using, how people are ordering, or what food trends are there regionally and stuff like that, maybe. But like either way, even if you somehow accomplish all that, it would take so much money, so much like resource, time and money, so much resources to, in my mind, to get something like that off the ground. Sorry, that was a very
Yep.
long answer.
It was a great answer. I have zero to add. JC, literally, the way this conversation went was exactly like this. I brought it up to him. He went on that exact same rant, and then I was like, all right, cool, idea dead. So that's all we need to do here. JC nailed it. All right, next up is the service uptime monitoring. To be honest, for me, I'll keep this one short. I genuinely assume this one comes from lack of technical knowledge. My feedback here. Number one, I was reticent to do this because I just felt the value add I could bring here, at least from the outset, was kind of low, just because I don't even know what this is in any great detail. I get the general gist, obviously. And then the two, my immediate thought was, we've done zero market research for this one, by the way, but I was like, surely this exists. Like, literally, surely this exists. This seems like such a basic thing that should exist. Surely it's built into something like Sentry or some other software monitoring and bug and error alert message system. So we use Sentry at Learn Arena to tell us when there's a bug, and then we can go replay the user session and actually see what the bug was and duplicate the user's action. So I just assumed Sentry or something like it, right, must do this already. So that was my only thoughts here, why I didn't even want to spend any more time on this. But it could be because I don't understand it fully. So go ahead, JC.
Well, you're right that this definitely exists. Yeah, I definitely know this exists. There's lots of services out there that do this. There's Is It Up? There's Pingdom. There's lots of like big and small ones. This would be just like yet another uptime monitoring thing. Like I don't have a unique spin on this, and I don't personally like. I still like want to do this, and like at some point might do it just for fun, but like or just keep it on the backlog of ideas we have, and at some point maybe we get around to
I'll say
it.
it's something we could do eventually. I'm not against it in principle at
Right.
all. I just didn't understand it.
Yeah, I didn't think it was like it was the reason this one came to mind was because it was a decent first candidate. Like it's not as good as the base quotes, because base quotes is just so stupid easy to implement that we can just do it like in an evening, at least like a V1 in an evening, and be done. But the service uptime stuff is like, the reason it's a good fit for me is because first, I knew it was going to be easy to implement. Secondly, or at least like a first version. Secondly, I don't think that, especially in the solopreneur space, I don't think that shying away from something just because it already exists is something that you really need to do, because I guess it depends on your goal. My goal, when I think of a solopreneur or a duopreneur type business, it's something that it's not going to be a major company. It's going to maybe,
Right.
I will be ecstatic if I make this thing bring in $5,000 a month, and it only takes me an hour of my week to think about or manage. Like that is a
Totally
huge
agree.
win, because I can do 20 of those. I
Yep.
could do, and that's if it's taking me an hour per week to think about or manage. That's still only 20 of my hours of my week to make $100,000. If I can get 20 businesses each generating $5,000 a month, I'm still making $100,000 a month. I don't care. So that can combine with like I already have not a big, but I have somewhat of a following in the dev space. I also have ideas of how I might market this to developers, because this is a developer focused product. I'm not marketing this to the Treys of the world, the CEOs. I'm marketing this to just like other developers.
Yeah, I don't need this.
But yeah, this definitely exists. Tons of them out there. I've even seen a few solopreneurs put out service uptime monitoring. It's just one of those things. It's just one other thing that I can put in a portfolio of businesses that say, I built this. It cost me almost nothing to maintain, and maybe you run some ad campaigns and get a few users. Maybe we find certain niches to market to, or like full disclosure, like you build an audience on Duopreneurs over the next year, and like I have people like there's a pipeline of customers there for this
Yep.
particular application because it's like, well, these are people who are trying to start their own company. Hey, if you're a Duopreneurs listener, like I'll give this to you at half price, like or even at cost, like who cares? But like the point is, it's something that would be useful to our audience as well. So yeah, that's everything. That's again another long answer, but it's just easy to implement. Is the biggest reason it came to mind. We were trying to present three ideas yesterday.
Agreed. Agreed. Awesome. I think it covers that one. Next up was the workstation setup website. This one was a very close second for me, actually. So I don't have a lot of pushback or insight on why we didn't do this one. Besides, again, we're optimizing for ease of like building and deployment for the very first MVP that we build, and it seemed clear to me that base quotes was just an order of magnitude easier than even this, as simple as this is, and that was the primary driver behind me not selecting this one. I love this one in every way, and I think maybe it should be
Yeah,
number two or something.
yeah, I definitely want to do this one. I agree with you. Like it's kind of the same for the next bullet point. It's like, well, this is something I'd really like to build a test of, but in terms of getting momentum up and going, I think that's kind of like the overarching theme of the past of yesterday and today is like, let's just get some momentum and let's pick
Yep.
the easiest thing we can possibly do.
Yeah. And on this one, Baldwin was asking, how would we monetize this one? And obviously, once we get a user base, the normal Google advertising AdSense comes to mind. But I'm curious what other thoughts you had about monetization for that one.
Monetization. Oh, the workstation idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there is always like the advertising and stuff that I don't really like love. Don't really want to put ads on the site if I can think of literally any other way to monetize it. Um,
Agreed.
I could. I was. This is a half baked idea. Like this actually would make a great episode to like really dive in on. But if I like at a high level, my mind had started to wander down the rabbit hole of um, partnering with like being a resource, like in terms of a paid plan, being a resource for streamers to kind of share, like even with it, like and have a Discord bot integration, all that kind of stuff, a Twitch bot integration to like allow streamers to easily like maintain all their different setups because some streamers even have multiple setups depending on like which studio they're in or what they're doing at the moment and be able to like still let them sell their stuff through affiliate links and all that but like do it through a system that gives them their bot and all that stuff so that was like where my mind started to go but it's still like very half baked like I have not done any
Yeah.
research on that.
I had a similar idea, maybe even the exact same thing. So tell me if I'm recapitulating what you said. But my thought was you have someone can post their workstation, right? And part of and I'm going to answer Baldwin's next question here too. Part of my vision for this as well was that part of the intake process, if you want to display your workstation, is you have to name each individual component, each individual item, and provide a link to either the Amazon, hopefully Amazon, but other websites where you purchased that particular piece of equipment. Because what we can then do is effectively uh, either through Amazon affiliate links or even directly ourselves as a middleman, help these people. So say they see your setup, JC, and they're like, I want that exactly. Well, they can click on our website, right? And click, I want to buy this and purchase it. If not through our website, then through Amazon, and we get a cut of that in some way. And again, this is also a little half baked, but that was my thinking there is we can help sell the setups basically.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen this done really, really well for very specific parts of a workstation. Like I've seen the NZXT partnership with Nick Merckx, and like they have him a really nice like custom built landing page with his exact build on it. With like they did a photo shoot with him and all that kind of stuff. Like I could see you going in a direction of being like the almost like the Pinterest for the streamers to capture everything about their studio and build like custom experiences for their audience. Like hit your website and like look at their even maybe a 3D tour of their studio and like just click on a thing and buy it. Like that's like the
Mm-hmm.
way down the line. I did the initial idea is just like I just want to like see some people's like cool setups. Like maybe even have like an API that just like I can tie into to randomly like give me someone's setup as like my background image on my computer or something like just
Right.
for fun. Yeah.
Right. Yep, exactly. You hit the nail on the head. All right, the last one here was the concert lineup for locals. Again, I don't have a lot to add on this one. This one was a good idea to me as well. It was genuinely just this one takes a little more legwork. We're gonna have to interact with real people, which is always less fun. And as a result of that, it immediately failed my test of like, can me and JC deploy this in 4 days?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. This is something that would and a good MVP of this would probably take a month, in my mind.
Same, completely agreed. So that's why we didn't pick the ones that we didn't pick, just to provide a little more detail on our kind of selection criteria and the process we went through there, kind of as we did it. JC, I don't know about you. The only other thing I wanted to cover today was a little bit of planning, what we're going to do tomorrow, because I was thinking, and it looks like you're on the same wavelength, but just tomorrow, our stream will be like an actual work session where we're doing stuff to make progress on the project. So to dive right into that, you and I can divide and conquer on some of these tomorrow, like setting up the YouTube channels. I'll handle the obviously I'll make sure you're aligned with the direction I'm going with it, but I'll handle the setting up a Fiverr for the logo and stuff. I had to do that a million times for Prospera, so I got really good at like kind of intuitively finding the good designers there because I had to do this a million times. I went through probably 15 graphic designers at Prospera. It was infuriating, but I got good at picking graphic designers basically. As well as I'll spend some time while we're doing that, pulling some more quotes into the quote database so that we'll continue to build up that reservoir so that when we launch it, we'll have a bunch of stuff that we launch with. But that's the main stuff I was thinking about tomorrow.
Yeah, that all sounds good to me. I just one random thought that came to mind when you just said that was like, I wonder if there's some way that we could, um, source our based quotes from Twitter in an interactive way, like, and to also build up a little bit of a following with our account. Maybe something to think on tonight.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good idea. Easy way to do that would just be to finish setting it up. We'll need a logo and a profile picture for this, or else everybody's gonna think we're a bot. But like, once it's actually set up and running, we can just spend like $50 basically to boost a post requesting base quotes and put it in the right audience on Twitter.
Yeah, I think we might have to work on the language a little bit. Like, some people aren't even going to know what based means. Others are going to have only a negative like connotatively, they're going to have a negative like feeling about that word. So I'm like, how do you how do you
So here's
source the
something
most quotes?
well, here's the thing. We can A/B test this if you want. With like, we can spend $100 or $50 and split them 25 in two different tweets. But my thinking on that is this is something I learned from trying to tippy toe around what we were doing at Prospera, and I've learned this a bit the hard way. The people that know what you're talking about and are kind of clued in, if you will, are automatically selected for when they see that you used that word or something like that. That's kind of signaling a culture war thing or an ideological thing. That makes them more likely to actually reply because they identify with it more, and they're like, "Oh, this is a unique thing that, like, I want to support other people that think they're the same tribe as me." It's all tribalism, just manipulated tribalism.
Right.
And at the same time, when the negative people see it and they're like, "Oh, look at these fascists" or whatever, fantastic. That's more views and replies, which means the Twitter for you algorithm is going to put it to more people. So we win either way, and it hurts us zero to have a couple of replies of people being like, "Why do you want base quotes? Are you a racist, homophobe, fascist?" I get the people that we want to be using this and adding quotes to it and giving us suggestions are going to see those replies and be like, "Oh, this is good. These are real people." It is a costly social signal. Um,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, that makes
everything you
sense.
said is a good thing.
Yeah, trying to tiptoe around this stuff always ends up like either you either get I feel like you probably either end up feeling imprisoned by it or it does just eventually bite you because you
I'll tell you what it did
still
at
can't
Prospera.
stay between the lines.
Yeah, well, I can tell you empirically what it did at Prospera. No matter how hard you try to tiptoe around it, uh, and you can work your tail off with that. I did for years. What happens is, A, no one has heard of you because your language is corporate milquetoast speak. And B, the people that hate you are going to attack you and hate you no matter what you do. This is a crucial lesson. They're going to hate you and attack you no matter what you do because of who you are and what you stand for. Baldwin just put it perfectly. No matter what, someone will get offended. That's exactly the point I'm driving at too.
Yeah.
So it's much better to just lean into it, basically.
Yeah, I'm on board. Yeah, that makes sense. I uh, yeah. Also, Papa Elon's not going to kick us off Twitter, so who cares?
Yeah, exactly. Now that Elon's in control, I think we're good on that front.
um,
You're exactly right.
yeah, I think I used to be a lot more averse to like what people are going to think, or like if they're going to try to cancel you or something like that. I'm just like, whatever. Nah, I just don't really care.
Yeah, I just don't care at
So
all anymore. What
I
again?
took
What
a
did it
year
for
off
me was
Twitter,
once.
and that was really helpful.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good idea. I should do that too at some point.
What did it for
What
you?
was helpful for me was a very painful experience I had. So we tried to tiptoe around all this nice language and talking about. For those who don't know, Prosper that I worked at previously, it's a charter city company. What we do is we partner with third world governments, basically developing country governments, to build autonomous special economic zones where we completely control the legal governance and regulatory frameworks. So I wrote a government basically. We built it from the ground up as part of a much broader team, not just me. Obviously, I was part of it. And we tried to wrap this. The whole point of it, right, is to bring prosperity and to create economic growth in developing countries by bringing first world governance to third world countries. If I had to put it in a very offensive sentence, um, because even the World Bank agrees, like governance institutions are the root of the problem here. Douglas North, the great economist, won a Nobel Prize for pointing this out in 1992. So it's not even a controversial thing to say. But we were so scared of pissing off the leftists that we were just constantly talking about catalyzing economic opportunity, creating jobs, creating inclusive economic growth, all the woke buzzwords and stuff. And we flew under the radar for a while. And then MIT Tech Review 2 years ago reached out, said they wanted to write a piece about us. I did a 2 hour long interview with MIT Tech Review about the
I
project. I
remember
recorded the
this.
whole thing. And when the article came out, sorry, let me pause. The interview I did with the lady, her name is Laurie Clark. I'll remember her name forever because I hate her more than almost anyone on earth. She was very nice in the interview, didn't ask any hard or like hardball questions, didn't indicate at all basically that she was going to write a negative piece. And when this article came out, it was the worst hatchet job against Prospera ever done. The headline was something along the lines of, and I'm only lightly paraphrasing here, I can't remember it exactly. It was like neocolonialist libertarians, neocolonialist crypto libertarians. That was the key phrase, crypto libertarians, whatever that is. Neocolonialist crypto libertarians create libertarian paradise in Honduras. And the article, after my
Cool.
2 hour interview, had a single. Let me get this. So this is how I learned this lesson. You just anticipated it. So the article had a single quote from me, by the way, from that 2 hour interview. Had a single quote from me, taken out of context and chopped up to make it sound like I said something I didn't. And you want to know what? When that article came out, that was the single largest day of e-residency sales we have ever had because of what I was telling you about earlier. People read that
Yeah.
article, they read the headline, they read the article, they're like, MIT Tech Review progressives hate it. And everything I just read about it that they tried to make sound bad, because here's what the progressives do. They
Sign me
forget everyone
up.
doesn't agree. Exactly. That's what happened. People started signing up crazy because what the progressives do is they assume everyone agrees with them. So they'll just say stuff, right? They'll just say like, they instituted a very low tax regime and very little to no regulatory compliance. Now they think
Mhm.
when someone reads that, they're gonna be like, oh my God, the horror. What was happening is people were reading it and going, this sounds awesome. So they started signing up. So I learned that day, like, oh, this is stupid. I'm gonna stop tiptoeing around these people. Let's just be who we are. They're gonna hate us, and it doesn't matter because they don't have any power over us.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't really. I used to have different feelings towards this stuff, and now I'm just like, whatever. I have been in situations where I have lost money over some opinions or ideas or whatever. Um, but now I'm just like, you know, it's not really that bad. Who cares? Like,
Yep,
you could
that is
even take my career from
exactly right.
me. I will go do something else. I don't care.
Yeah, I refuse to be anything other than what I am, basically.
I will. I will go build houses with one of my good buddies who builds houses for a living. I like whatever. I don't care.
Yep.
Cool. I think that's gonna wrap it for tonight. I know you're sick and probably wanting to go to bed, and I think that's everything I wanted to do tonight. Besides the feedback, I think maybe tomorrow we can leave some feedback on 5 ideas and get these to dos done. Kind of some back office stuff, and then I think we can get a video produced that's something we need to make sure we set very strict time constraints on the Prosperous stuff, because we need to get a video out by Sunday night.
Yep, you're right. We'll have to do that at the latest on Saturday, but you're totally right.
Yeah,
I hadn't even thought about the video editing process yet. We'll talk about that tomorrow. That'll be good for tomorrow because we'll need to talk through the workflow there.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome. Okay.
Thanks for
Sounds
joining
good.
us again, Baldwin. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, you're awesome, man.